Thank you for clicking the video. Welcome to the channel. This video is a part of a series called One Kitchen Item Every Week. Here in this series, every week I will show you how I make one kitchen item out of wood. So subscribe to the channel and tune in every week to see how I do it. Maybe you'll learn something out of it and maybe you can do it on your own too. So let's go. Here I have the other half of the piece that I used in the last video while making the spoon. Today I'm going to be making a fork, so I'm just going to mark out the thickness and the size that I want and cut it out with a handsaw. Nothing much to explain here. You already know, you have seen this before. It's all about cutting out and preparing the stock piece for the work. That's all that's going on right now. I'm not going to use the entire block of wood because this is too big. So I'm going to cut it down to the middle and use only a half part of it. Here I've got a steel fork, and just like in the last video where I traced out the spoon on the workpiece, I'm going to do the same here. And right now what I'm doing here is marking out a rough thickness of the fork that is going to be. In the end, it's going to be a little thinner than what I initially marked here. Now the workpiece here has enough material and is thick enough for at least 2 forks. If you have a bandsaw, you can trace out an exact copy of the previous marking and cut it out on a bandsaw without having to waste a lot of materials, and you'll get at least 2 out of this. And like I said, if you got a bandsaw, you can just use the entire block of wood that you cut out before. Just mark out multiple lines for the fork and cut it out one by one. It will give you more workpiece and less waste of materials. Here you'll get at least 4 or 5 pieces. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to cut out only one piece from this block. And all the X marks are just going to be wasted. Sacrificing material for the video. And just like the last video where I started the spoon from the head, I'm going to start the fork too from the head, because it's always better to complete the head first and then cut out the shape of the fork. Otherwise, if you cut out the shape of the fork first, it's going to be extremely difficult to hold your workpiece on the vise while you work on the head. Now it's time to mark out the pointy ends of the fork. Just in case you didn't know what the pointy ends are called, they are either called prongs or tines, fork tines. If you didn't know that, well, watching this video, you learned something new. There you go. And in order to cut out the tines in the same exact length, I pre-drill holes so that I know where to stop when I cut through. After cutting through, I'm going to use my penknife to slowly carve out the exact shape and size of the dines. And at this stage, the dines or the prongs become very flexible and fragile, so I have to use wedges to hold them in place as I carve out. After a little bit of sanding, you can now see the gaps between the tines are uniform and perfectly symmetrical. Next, it's time to cut off the sides and form the basic shape of the fork. Before moving on to the handle, I'm going to finish up carving the head of the fork first. And I chamfered a little bit on the end of the handle because I want it a little bit round. Now that the shape has been cut out, it's time to sand every surface, make it smooth and fine. You can see how well the profile and the shape has been cut out. It's been deliberately kept a little thicker than the steel fork because it's not going to last very long if it's as thin as the steel fork. And as usual, a little bit of polyurethane for protection. And there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you make a fork. It's simple, it's easy, and fast. Now you can try making one for yourself. I'm sure you can do it too. Well, thank you for watching the video till the end. Like, share, and subscribe. And do tune in next week for a different kitchen item video. Until then, take care, stay safe. Bye bye.